What is poppin', Five fans, and welcome to another episode of the Mystic Hour Live. And I am joined by my guy, number 4 welterweight in the UFC, Allah Iverson himself. Welcome back to the show, Belal. What's going on?
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Just trying to keep up with you. See, I got a little intro now, trying to
I was
keep
about
up
to
with
say
with the
that
show.
was a nice little introduction. I was like, okay, we're upgrading.
There we go. It's a new season. Gotta do different. I'm trying to keep up. But let's get straight into it, man. What a freaking week you guys had over there in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, Jared took a not a loss in my eyes, and not a loss to anybody else. To Paddy Pimblett there in Las Vegas. You were in his corner. You were there with him all week. What was your immediate emotion after Jared suffered that loss? As soon as they read the opinion, I mean, we can see you, but what were you thinking in your mind?
Honestly, I thought it was a clear victory for Jared. And when I heard the scorecards, it was kind of like little disbelief, but it was like just like heartbroken because I seen and I worked with Jared. I knew how hard he worked for this whole camp, and he's a guy who's like been through so much, and I just felt like that was like about to be his moment. You know, when you're a fighter, you look for those moments, you wish for those moments where it's like the whole crowd's against you, and then you turn them over to your side, and all of Vegas was cheering for Paddy Pimblett, and then after the fight they were booing him because they all knew that Jared won. But I just wanted Jared to have that moment where everybody thought he was gonna lose. He was going against the guy with all the hype. Everybody thought he was gonna walk through Jared, and then Jared had a perfect game plan, perfect fight, and he still lost. And like I said, it's just like for a guy like him who's been through so much already in his life and he's fought back from so much, I just wanted that for him. I wanted him to have that win. I wanted him to have that moment. He didn't have it, but like I said, he's come back from way worse, so he'll come back from this.
And did you score the fight 3-0 yourself, or did you have it 2-1 or something different?
When I was live, I scored it 2-1.
Okay.
But that's just me live. And that's me like, oh, well, maybe this or maybe that. Rewatching, I rewatched it twice. And now I scored 3-0 for Jared. And, like, I just don't understand. Like, out of any other rounds, like, the third round, I don't see how you give it to Paddy at all. You can say whatever you want. Jared had him on a cage the whole time. But Jared literally had him on a cage controlled the whole time. Jared had him there. Paddy, who's the bigger fighter. Paddy, who's this wrestler, grappler. And Jared controlled him on the fence the whole time. So, I don't know how a judge gave Paddy that third round, but the first round is what pisses me off the most because Jared outlanded him 36-22 in the
Clean.
first round and finished on top with the takedown. So how in any sane person, any judge, you get paid for this? How do you look at that round and still give it to Paddy? Like I'm looking at that round, and I was looking at the hooks that Jared's landing. Paddy's head is bouncing back every single time, and I'm like, two judges gave this round to Paddy. How? How are you like? You guys had to be that slow to give him that round. It made no sense at all.
Yeah, and Patty's shots weren't even hitting Jared. Honestly, if you rewatching that fight, it was hitting his gloves, his shoulder. Nothing was really clean. But going into that third round, what were you telling Jared? Just like he has to do, because he obviously was holding him against the fence. But what was the game plan going into that third round? Because I remember him asking, "Am I winning the fight?" And nobody was really sure. But what would you guys think?
Yeah, I mean his coach. Shout out to Jason Stroud. He's very like he doesn't lie to you. He told him like, yeah, it's close. So I'm not gonna tell you you're winning. Like we need this third round. We need the third round. And for Jared, he the way he controlled him in the first. Jared, people sleep on Jared's ground game. His top game is some of the best that I've ever gone with. And we knew that if he would have got him down in the third round, he would have controlled him and outstruck him. But his leg was hurt after that the first round. They threw like some kick where they both hit each other and he couldn't get great movement with his leg. So he was just sitting there trying to figure out a way to close the distance off on him and try to take him down. But I honestly I think it was more so Paddy trying to stall it out that third round, just holding him as defense when somebody has a wizard on you and they're not trying to get off and you're just staying there. You're not realizing that the clock is ticking, clock is ticking, clock is ticking. And if Paddy would have tried to fight off the cage a little bit more, I think it would have opened it up more and made Jared strike more with him because I thought Jared was winning the striking game anyway. But I think Paddy was just more comfortable on the cage, not getting hit. So he was kind of like holding Jared there and like, all right, let's stay here for a little bit because in the open mat, I'm getting punched in the face. I'm getting caught with all these left hooks. Why don't I just stay here, play it out right here, let the clock tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, and I know they like to say Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is the nicest guy in MMA, but I think that's Jared Gordon because as you can see him all week, my God, I was getting nervous. I'm just like, oh, I hope he's not just happy to be there or whatever it is. But he clearly showed that the pressure wasn't on him; the pressure was on Paddy. How did you guys kind of navigate his energy during the week, especially as Paddy was having outside drama besides him just fighting in that cage?
Yeah, that's the thing. Jared didn't want to get out of character. He was like, I know Paddy's gonna talk trash. Should I talk trash? And you know me, I'm like, bro, let's talk some trash.
Yeah.
But Jared's like, I don't wanna be that guy. I don't want to fake it. So he's like, I'm just gonna be myself. And he's not one to shy away from anybody that talks trash. So like, I think if Paddy would have came at him more, Jared would rebuttal with a bunch of stuff. But Jared was just like this the whole time. Like, I'm not gonna fake anything. Like, I'm cool with him. I don't have nothing against him. People were saying all the time, like, oh, Paddy's like, oh, all these guys want to fight me. All these guys want to fight me. But Paddy actually called Jared out twice because Jared beat his teammate. So it wasn't nothing personal on Jared's end. He just knew that, we knew that once we walked out, the crowd was going to be for Paddy. So we knew how big the stage was and how big a win here would be for Jared because, like I said, you dream of these fights. You dream of being on the biggest stage, being a co-main event of a pay-per-view. And me and Jared were roommates for 2 years, and we're sitting in our little apartment, and we would just talk about it. Like, yeah, we're going to get here. We're going to get here. So, like, this was his week for him to have that moment. I'm glad he got to shine. I just wish he would have got the win.
Yeah, and then everybody thought that Jared won. I think Jared's stock went up more than Paddy's went because I think Paddy's stock went down. Didn't look too great. But can you clear something up for me, Bilal? Paddy talked about I submitted Jared twice in practice. Where did this story come from? Can you clear it up? Were you there? Please let us know.
Literally, I think it's one of those where, like you said, the moment wasn't getting to Jared. Jared was cool all week. He wasn't looking nervous. His interviews were chill. Um, People were starting to navigate toward him because of his story when they did the UFC embedded and the UFC countdown show. A lot of people didn't know what Jared went through in his life, and I think a lot of people were starting to, hey, I'm cheering for Jared now. I'm cheering for Jared now because of everything he's been through in his life. And I think it was one of those things where Paddy was like, there's nothing that's affecting this guy. I got to figure something out. So I'm pretty sure that him and his coaches were just like sitting in the hotel room, like, let's just make something up. Let's say that we caught him at the arm bar or something. Because like if you know Jared and you heard his story, the stuff that he's admitted to in his life, like, he wouldn't care about admitting that I got armbarred or tapped out by Paddy Pimblett in a practice room. Like, I've been tapped out a million times in practice room. I'm not worried about it. It's the practice room. It's what happened Saturday night. And if you see the way the ground sequence went on Saturday night, you could just tell that Jared has a better ground game than Paddy Pimblett. So I just think he just came out of thin air. He was just trying to figure out something to come at Jared, and still didn't affect him because, like I said, Jared's mind is like bulletproof.
Yeah, and just want to give you that you are 9-0 this year in coaching. So we got to get you up there for Coach of the Year. We're not going to count that last one because we know who won that fight. So 9-0 to you, Belal Muhammad. But this will be the last one on Paddy. Do you think people need to stop comparing him to like a Conor McGregor? Because when Conor McGregor first started, he started hot. He was finishing people. Paddy did finish some people, but again, he just didn't look great this past weekend. Do you think that comparison needs to stop? And do you ever see him beating even a top 15 lightweight?
Yeah, I think the comparisons definitely need to stop. When Conor came in, Conor, you could tell he was starving. He was hungry. He wanted to be champion. He never got to the point where you never saw him at 200 pounds. You never saw him that big out of shape. That's the thing about this game is you have to be in training mode at all times. You have to be trying to better yourself and grow every single fight. Paddy, he's been the same fighter since he's been in since his first fight. We've seen his openings. We've seen what he does wrong. And Jared exploited those openings. He leans his head back a lot. Jared caught him with the hook every single time. And he's not getting any better, I don't think, because he's getting so big out of camps and he's getting so fat. And I think it's more so for him. Like, he's not in love with the sport. like Conor was when he first came into the UFC. I don't think he has that hunger to be a champion. I think he has that hunger to get rich, and he's getting there. He has that same kind of fan base, but he just doesn't have the skills. I don't think. I mean, and he could maybe something clicks and he's like, you know what, maybe I need to start taking this more serious and get back into training all the time. Like I don't have no fight in the books, and this is my second practice today. Like I'm starving. I'm hungry. I'm trying to be a champion. I'm trying to better my skills. You look at your last fight and you think of the stuff that went wrong and you want to grow from those, whether it's off a win or a loss. I'm still trying to grow. And I don't think that he has those moments. I don't think that he has that mindset. I think his mindset is, all right, I won. Let me get the whatever checks I can get for interviews or anything like that, whatever sponsorships I can get.
Oh,
To each his own. Like but it's about what you want to be. I don't think for him. I think that he calls for the counter fight because obviously it'll be a huge fight, fan base fight, a big money fight for him. But I think it's more a money fight for him. I don't think he could talk and act like, oh yeah, I'll tap out Islam. I'll give a better fight to Islam. But I think those are just words. I think he just does that stuff to blowing hot smoke because people do compare him to Conor, so he thinks that he needs to act like Conor.
yeah, honestly, this looks like these camps are just fat camps for him. He's more concentrated on losing weight than actual skills of the fight, and we'll see how that's going to go forward for him. But let's get to the nitty gritty, Belal. Let's get to the nitty gritty here. We got Leon Edwards talking on Twitter, and this whole thing blew up with him saying, you're not getting a title shot, you bum. I don't understand why every MMA media was posting that as it was like funny or something like that. Honestly, I think it was pretty disrespectful. And I think it was disrespectful coming from somebody like Leon, who was always the guy who was never getting his title shot. And he said, and I showed you that receipt, when I'm champion, things like this will never happen. How do you feel that Leon Edwards is handling him being a champion right now? Do you think it's getting to his head?
Yeah, I think that, like you said, he knows that his days are numbered. He knows whoever he fights next, it's going to be somebody that's going to implement the same game plan that Usman just did. Usman was breaking him. He was broken in the cage. He doesn't have a champion mindset. When you have your coach and they're trying to beg you to fight back, beg you to lift your head up, you're not a true champion. You're soft-minded. You're weak-minded. And for a guy like that who took him 9 fights in a row to get there, for him to not have any fight in him, you could say, oh man, well, he came back in the 5th round, bro. It was a shot that landed. It wasn't. He didn't go for it. It wasn't like when you look at it like a Rockhold and Costa fight that same night. Like both those guys were going for it. Like they had nothing left in the tank. They were going for it. He mentally broke down. He was getting worked out for 4 rounds, and he like gave up on himself. He threw a head kick. It lands. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it did. If it didn't land, people would be talking about how weak-minded he is, how soft he is, and we would still be saying how dominant Usman was. I think that his next fight, if it is a rematch with Usman, Usman's just going to come out earlier and break him down faster. And if he comes out with the fight like against me, I'm going to do the same exact thing. You could say whatever you want. Oh, man, I won the first round against me. That's 1 round. And same way you were getting killed for 4 rounds against Usman, you came back. And also, that was me fighting you on 2 weeks' notice. That was me fighting you off of a fight with Diego Lima where I took like 95 calf kicks. And like literally the whole 2 weeks of me training was me working on getting my calf right where I could walk. So like when people say that those little things like, oh man, he was working the whole, I was like, it was 1 round and he outstruck me 16-9. He landed a head kick clean in the first round and I still stood up. I didn't get dropped. It wasn't a 10-8 round. So for all those people that are talking that trash, it's just a narrative that he spins. Like people out here, same way Paddy spinning a narrative like, oh, I was killing Jared Gordon. Like these people from London love to spin narratives. You weren't killing me. That was a close fight. In the grappling exchanges, you had double underhooks and I reversed you off the cage. So those little things, when I rewatched that fight, people don't go back and rewatch the fight. They just listen to what he said, listen to what reporters say, and like these people are just uneducated.
Yeah, and you work with Dominance MMA. People are spreading rumors about Kamaru Usman not being able to fight. Do you have any insider info that that's a possibility of him not being able to fight?
Oh, I mean, I called my manager right away. He's like, yeah, that's lies.
Mm.
Yeah, he said that he's training. Henry Hoof posted a video of Kamaru training today. Jared Gordon trains at Sanford MMA, so I know a bunch of people down there that train. So everybody there tells me that he's in the gym working. So I don't know what Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's doing, but it's like people looking for clicks. He says one thing in an interview, you're like, wait, Wonderboy wouldn't lie. But Wonderboy like clarified it, like, I'm not saying that Usman's out. I'm saying if he does have another hand injury, they probably would make Masvidal. And honestly, like I would say the same thing. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they would make something stupid like that, because it's a popularity contest. And you have a guy like Leon who's afraid to fight the toughest guys, and he knows that a fight with Masvidal will be easier than a fight with me. So obviously he would look for that easier fight, the easier matchup.
Yeah, and honestly, Masvidal has some legal issues going on, and I'm not here to confirm anything, but I don't think he can fight yet until all those things are over. So I feel like the Masvidal talk has to stop, and your name needs to be brought up way more because you deserve it. You haven't lost a fight since 2019, and people forget that. You don't put that into fact, and you have probably a better winning streak than Leon had because Leon was beating a lot of lightweights, if we're being completely honest, and
Exactly.
you're
Leon got the
actually
title shot off of beating Nate Diaz in a fight that he almost lost. I knocked out a 15-0 killer that everybody thought was going to be the next champion. So Leon, before that, who did he fight? 55 or Donald Cerrone, 55 or RDA. He hasn't fought anybody. I fought two-time welterweight contender Wonderboy, killed him, and what did he do? He just came back and killed Holland. So I guess Wonderboy isn't old. I guess Wonderboy still has some fight left in him, huh? Even though I 30-25'd him. So for me to 30-25 a guy who just finished Kevin Holland, who everybody thought was going to be the next contender at welterweight, I guess I don't suck. I guess Wonderboy is still there. He still has a lot of fight left in him. And beating a guy like Damian Maia, who before that was close to beating Gilbert Burns. He had Gilbert Burns his back. He took Gilbert Burns down. He didn't touch me. He didn't put me in any bad position. So all those haters are out there that they all want to spin it any way they want. But me and my team know how good we are. Other fighters know how good I am because a lot of fighters refuse to fight me. The UFC knows how good I am. That's why I feel like they're refusing to put me against Jemayev because they don't want me to mess up their big money guy. And for me, it's like all I got to do is keep winning. I'm not worried about it. My last fight, I fought downward to fight Sean Brady. It didn't make any sense. Now I went out there and I finished him. So now I deserve somebody above me.
Ooh, well, I was fired up there. You heard it right here on the show. It's fired up. What's that fight? So do you think maybe co-main event, London, you, Hazma, you know how you always has problems with the visa issues, but I guess over there in Europe it would be way more easier for him. Would you want that co-main event in London?
For sure. I would definitely. That's what I said. I want to be on the same card as Leon.
Yeah.
Whatever the title fights on that card. They keep talking about Hamzat against Kobe. That doesn't make any sense at all. I doubt Kobe will even take that fight, but me and him are the only guys winning right now. And for people, oh man, you keep calling him out. Why you keep calling him out for? What, you have issues with him? It ain't I have issues with him. It's anybody else I beat. They're still gonna say that he's ahead of me. I can go out there and I can fight Gilbert Burns, beat Gilbert Burns. They're gonna say Hamzat's still ahead of you. I beat Sean Brady. They're still saying Hamzat's still ahead of me. So they want Hamzat to be the fight for the title so bad. So let me just go up there and fight Hamzat since he's the uncrowned champion in many people's eyes. I beat him. Then there's no denying me at all. And they're always trying to figure a way out to deny me. So I just want to be undeniable. So I want to fight the guy they think is next in line.
Yes, sir. And Bilal, last one here. Going forward, is Khabib going to be in your corner in all your next fights, or is that something depending on his schedule, or are you going to keep working with that team over there?
No, for sure. Definitely going to be keep working with the team over there. I know they're going to be coming to. He's going to be coming to California soon to corner his cousin Umar, fighting in the UFC. So whenever they're back in town, I'm going to be training with them. If I'm hoping that to make it down to Australia, if they get out there a month early to train for that fight, because my coach Mike Bally will be cornering Yair Rodriguez. So if they get down there early, I'll probably just go down there early and train with the team down there. So yeah, for sure, man. I grew so much training with those guys. Those guys are so good. I would be dumb to not want to train with them again.
Yeah, we love to see the improvements that you made inside that octagon as well. But Bilal, Thursday, we got a show. Is there a show coming up? Are we got contestants yet?
Yeah, my brother. Definitely a show Thursday. I'm trying to get some big names this week. I got some fun names coming up. I'm just waiting for them to answer the DM. So once they answer, people will know who it is.
Let's go. I hope Derek Lewis finally answers that DM. I know it's gonna happen soon. And of course, Aaron Bronstetter, please get your shit together. I'm still waiting for you. I'm gonna keep calling you. I'll call you a million times, but we'll see if that happens one day. But Bilal, I appreciate you, brother. You know we talk always. I appreciate you for coming on, man. And anything you want to say to the fans out there, and anything you want to say right now to Leon Edwards, if you could.
Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you again for having me on. Yeah, for sure, man. Any of the fans out there, to my loyal fans and to my haters, keep hating on me, keep talking about me. It's all good. I'm just gonna keep winning. Leon, I'm coming for you. You can't hide. I'm gonna be in London. If we're gonna be fighting in the cage or on the streets, I'll be there.
All right, you heard it right here. My man Belal Muhammad, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll talk soon, brother.
Peace out, man.
All right.